Good evening, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, together with the Presidential Communications Office.
We bring you the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news coverage from the People's Television, IBC, Philippine News Agency, Philippine Information Agency, and Presidential Broadcast Service. I'm Princess Abiba Saripauda.
And I'm Joe Fernandez from Radyo Pilipinas. Welcome to Balitang Pambansa. Tonight's headlines. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, suspends the printing of ballots for the 2025 midterm polls. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. directs the Health Department to ensure unhampered delivery of services by the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, or PhilHealth. Latest Octa research survey reveals over 60% or majority of Filipinos still trust and are satisfied with President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s performance. The National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea maintains China's intimidation tactics are unsuccessful. The Department of Agriculture eyes to sell NFA rice, priced at 38 pesos a kilo, to local government units. The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission confirms 80% of Philippine offshore gaming operators, or POGO operations, have been shut down. The Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, says that only a temporary restraining order from the Supreme Court can stop them from counting the printing of ballots. Thus, true to its earlier declaration to abide by the decision of the High Court, the poll body has suspended its ballot printing operations. PTV's Luisa Erispe has more.
The Commission on Elections has officially decided to temporarily suspend the printing of ballots for the 2025 national and local elections. This after the Supreme Court ordered the COMELEC to include 5 names of previously announced nuisance and disqualified candidates on the ballots, and they released a temporary restraining order on the decision of the COMELEC on the aforementioned cases.
So the TROs prohibits COMELEC from disqualifying them. So this means their names have to be included in the ballot. So it's up to COMELEC how they will implement this, but they will just have to follow the order of the Supreme Court, yes.
These 5 names include an aspirant for a senatorial position and 4 others running for local position, including former Congressman Edgar Erice, who was known for questioning the system provider of COMELEC for the automated counting machines. With the suspension, COMELEC vowed to obey the Supreme Court and include their names on the ballots. However, due to the suspension, COMELEC said there will be few delays on the supposed schedule of preparations for the polls. The COMELEC will study if they need to redo the database of the candidates. They will also be releasing new ballot faces, reprint the millions of ballots earlier printed since January 6, 2025, and the mock elections set for January 18th will also be delayed. But the COMELEC assured there is no reason for the public to panic. The delays and cost may be consequences of the decision, but not the cancellation or delays on the date of the election. They also assured the public on transparency on the process of their activities and operations. Meanwhile, today, another candidate filed a case before the Commission on Elections, but this is not against the poll body, but for another candidate who allegedly intentionally contacted people to be nuisance candidates. Laguna incumbent Governor Ramil Hernandez, together with his wife, Congresswoman Ruth Hernandez, filed cases of violation of the Omnibus Election Code before the COMELEC against Cabuyao City Councilor Richard Hain, who allegedly asked for residents of Laguna to file their COCs to purposely get stray votes.
Mga sinumpaang salaysay nandun po sa mga ipinail po natin ang mga dokumento na nagsasabi na talagang mayroon pong ginamit na usaping pera para po ang mga taong ito ay mag-file ng candidacy.
Hain has yet to comment on the petitions filed. From People's Television Network, Luisa Erispe para sa Balitang Pambansa.
His New Year's resolution was simple and clear: better health in 2025. And from such premise, the President instructed his health czar and PhilHealth chief to spare no expense to ensure all Filipinos receive quality medical service and treatment and reinforce the adoption of preventive health measures this year. PTV's Kenneth Paciente has more.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. wants to ensure every Filipino has access to affordable medical services. That's why in a meeting with the Department of Health, the Chief Executive's directive to the agency was crystal clear. It should not, he said, interrupt PhilHealth services despite a zero subsidy for the state-owned health insurer. Last year, the President reassured PhilHealth members, promising its services would not be affected.
Kahit may subsidy, kahit walang subsidy, kahit anong contribution, all of these issues, hindi mababawasan ang serbisyo ng PhilHealth. Hindi mababawasan ang bayad ng PhilHealth sa insurance claim. In fact, baliktad, padadamihin pa namin ang serbisyong ibibigay ng PhilHealth, palalakihin pa namin ang pagbayad sa insurance claims. So, I would like to just assure everybody, huwag niyong inaalala na mababawasan ang serbisyo kahit na kanino.
The President encouraged the DOH to shift the agency's focus from treatment to prevention. The President also emphasized the importance of digitalizing the DOH operations to improve the delivery of services to the public. In his meeting with the DSWD, the President wants the agency's programs to be removed from unprogrammed appropriations for the next year. He said these will ensure Filipinos can immediately benefit from government welfare programs. The meeting also discussed the results of the budget review of the agency under the 2025 General Appropriations Act or GAA. The DSWD's budget was reduced by 10.85 billion pesos or 4.79%. That's why from 226.67 billion pesos under the 2025 National Expenditure Program, only 215.82 billion pesos was approved in the 2025 GAA. The DSWD requested an additional 41.8 billion pesos from unprogrammed appropriations to fund the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program or 4Ps from August to December 2025. The President also ordered the DICT to prioritize the Common Tower Program or CTP. This is because more Filipinos will benefit from this program. The DICT said there are 404,600 direct beneficiaries and an estimated 2,023,000 indirect beneficiaries who will benefit from CTP. The DICT also highlighted that from 250 government systems, the number has increased to 1,277 improved through digitalization under the Marcos Jr. administration. The agency also assured the President of continuous and more effective operations to renew 15,715 free Wi-Fi access point sites across the country worth 6 billion pesos. From PTV Manila, Kenneth Pasyente, Balitang Pambansa.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris are currently conversing on the phone this very moment. The phone call, the Presidential Communications Office earlier said, will happen around 9:30 in the evening. It can be recalled the President and U.S. Vice President met at the sidelines of Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC conference in November 2023, where they tackled the West Philippine issues and the steps being taken by the Philippine government to help maintain peace in the region. Vice President Harris commended the Philippines and U.S. lasting and strong relations, especially in security and economy during her courtesy call on the chief executive last November 2022 in Malacanang. On the other news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. welcomed plans to elevate the relations between the Philippines and India during Indian Minister of State for External Affairs, Pabitra Margareta's courtesy call. Highlighting 75 years of diplomatic ties, President Marcos Jr. emphasized the importance of stronger partnerships amid Indo-Pacific geopolitical shifts. In 2023, trade between the two nations reached $3.08 billion, with India as the Philippines' 15th largest trading partner. The two countries have 53 agreements covering trade, investment, science, defense, and other areas.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s position on the impeachment issue against Vice President Sara Duterte remains unchanged. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin says the chief executive still believes that VP Sara should not be impeached. This as the Iglesia Ni Cristo held the National Rally for Peace yesterday to supposedly show support to the president's stand on the matter.
Majority of Filipinos continue to trust President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., while Vice President Sara Duterte's trust and performance ratings continue to decline. This is based on the latest tugon ng masa survey by the Octa Research conducted from November 10 to 16 last year. President Marcos Jr. received trust and performance ratings of 65% and 64% respectively. Meanwhile, VP Sara's trust rating dropped to 49%, down from 59% in the third quarter of 2024. Her performance rating also dipped to 48% from 52%. Senate President Francis Escudero and House Speaker Martin Romualdez also continue to enjoy high trust and performance ratings. Meanwhile, Chief Justice Alexander Gismundo received trust rating of 10% and performance rating of 8%.
The Chinese Coast Guard's move to deploy its monitor ship in the country's exclusive economic zone is a brazen display by a bully seeking to intimidate or spook their Filipino counterparts at sea. Nice try, but that didn't work. Instead, this brazen scare tactic has cemented Filipino resolve to defend its rightful territories and sovereignty based on the rule of law and without the use of force or violence, as PTV's Patrick De Jesus reports.
Alarming, however, the government remains unfazed by the monster ship of the China Coast Guard, which continues to stay within the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines. The National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea asserts this is China's new intimidation ploy, which will not work. They have also appealed for the removal of the monster from our EEZ.
We can clearly state that the intimidation tactics are not successful, and that we remain resolved to support our Filipino fishermen, and we will not stop challenging their presence within Philippine waters.
The monster ship was last sighted 77 nautical miles west of Capores Island in Zambales. It was initially detected over a week ago, coming as close as 54 nautical miles. 2 Philippine Coast Guard vessels are currently monitoring the area, the BRP Gabriela Silang and the returning BRP Teresa Magbanwa, which had its overheating auxiliary engine repaired promptly. The Philippine Coast Guard is also conducting aerial patrols with their Islander aircraft, frequently flying over the location of the Chinese vessel. Not only are they monitoring, but Philippine assets are also actively driving away the monster ship.
As far as the Coast Guard is concerned, our main role right now is to make sure that the China Coast Guard vessel don't come close off the coast of Zambales. So that is the mission objective of 9701 and 8301.
When asked if the presence of the monster ship near Zambales is a tactic to divert attention from Scarborough Shoal or Bao de Masinloc, the NTF-WPS stated, any reclamation at Bajo de Masinloc is considered a red line or non-negotiable and remains under close monitoring.
The AFP, the Philippine Navy, has appropriate contingency plans in place in the event that this will be violated. Non-negotiable na gagawa sila ng any structure or reclamation on Bajo de Masinloc.
The government has not ruled out the possibility of seeking assistance from allied countries in light of this new challenge in the West Philippine Sea.
We're keeping our options open. Now the ball is in the court of the PRC. We already requested very clearly and made a demand for them to withdraw the monster ship. So let's see what their response will be. We hope that the PRC will not push the envelope, because the more that they push the envelope, the more that things become complicated.
This year, the AFP aims to surpass the 10 multilateral maritime exercises conducted in 2024 within our EEZ in cooperation with allied nations. Meanwhile, forensic analysis continues on the submersible drone found in Masbate in December, as well as 4 others recovered last year in Calayan Island, Pasukin, Ilocos, and Initaw, Misamis Oriental, areas considered critical choke points in Philippine waters. The military implications of these findings are also being investigated. From the People's Television Network, Patrick De Jesus, Balitang Pambansa.
The Department of Agriculture is tapping the NFA to sell even cheaper rice to local government units that can pass or relay these stocks of cheap grain to their constituents. And then the DA will ramp up its efforts to assist farmers with modern farm machinery and inputs like fertilizers and free seeds so they can be more competitive in the liberal market. Just a couple of the DA's latest moves on affording the public cheaper rice, as PTV's Clazel Pardilia reports.
The Department of Agriculture is ramping up efforts to increase the availability of affordable rice in the market. The agency plans to distribute NFA rice to local government units, which can then sell the rice to their constituents or use it as relief assistance during calamities. NFA rice will be sold at 38 pesos per kilo, making it as affordable or even cheaper than current market prices of 38 to 65 pesos per kilo in major Metro Manila markets. In a statement, DA spokesperson Assistant Secretary Arnel de Mesa said,
it can still bring down yung presyo kasi mas dadaming available mo na mura.
The National Food Authority has 300,000 sacks of rice for immediate sale. These stocks classified as aged or non-regular rice, which have been stored for 2 months but remain in good quality. The NFA said releasing these stocks will create space for the incoming harvest this season. NFA Administrator Larry Lacson explained,
we have experienced some branches and warehouses na hindi tayo makapagtanggap talaga ng marami dahil walang tayong paglalagyan. Paglipat lang ng buwan, let's say next month, that whole almost 700,000 bags na bigas na yan, it will be considered as 2 months and above na pwede nang i-dispose as an aging stock.
The NFA has allocated 15 billion pesos to purchase locally harvested palay, ensuring farmers can sell their produce to competitive prices. In addition, the agency is constructing 30 rice processing facilities nationwide to help farmers efficiently dry and process their harvest. Administrator Lacson emphasized,
ngayon kasi tutuyuin nila and then i-bebenta sa amin. Hindi. Tuyo, basa, tanggap lahat yan. In fact, mas gugustuhin pa namin na basa ang bilhin ngayon.
Correct.
Kasi meron na kaming facilities at mas alam namin tama ang pagkakatuyo.
Meanwhile, the DA assured the early distribution of free seeds and fertilizers to farmers, as directed by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. The department's efforts are supported by a 30 billion peso fund under the Rice Tariffication Law and an additional 21 billion pesos for its National Rice Program. These initiatives aim to boost rice production and make it more accessible and affordable for Filipino consumers. From PTV Manila, Clazel Pardilia, Balitang Pambansa.
The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, or PAOC, revealed what they have achieved in the previous year as far as the president's all-out ban against pogos is concerned. Executive Director Undersecretary Gilbert Cruz says PAOC has been able to shut down 80% of pogos, and they are continuing to focus on those that have shifted to guerrilla-type operations or small-scale, particularly in the Visayas and Mindanao region. The PAOC chief says the order from the president and their coordination with the DILG and the local government helped in ensuring the closure of pogos in various areas. Also, the government has deported some 20,000 pogo workers spearheaded by the Bureau of Immigration or BI.
Maganda kasi ngayon dahil katuwang na natin yung DILG at maganda yung coordination namin ni Secretary John B. Cremulya. And of course yung DOJ kasi sila yung tumutulong sa amin sa pagpapile ng kaso. Kasi wala na ho talagang binigyan ng permit ang ating PAGCOR at ang directive po ng ating butihing SILG, John B. Cremulya, ay wala na pong i-renew ng mga permits. Ang local government units po, hindi na ho sila pwede mag-renew ng mga permits. Lalong-lalo na po yung sa mga pinagdudadahan po ng mga Pogo Hubs.
And for our weather, the easterlies is affecting the Visayas and Mindanao, while the northeast monsoon is affecting Luzon. Based on Pag-asa's latest weather forecast, Cagayan Valley, Cordillera Administrative Region, Bicol Region, Aurora, Quezon, Laguna, Oriental Mindoro, Marinduque, and Romblon will have cloudy skies with rains. The northeast monsoon will bring partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rains in Metro Manila and the rest of Luzon. Meanwhile, cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms will be felt in eastern Visayas, Caraga, Davao Region, and Sorsogon. The rest of the country will experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms due to the easterlies.
Ako di ay si Mrs. Edwina Kulubong, nagpuyo sa Barangay Lutay, Malungon, Sarangani Province. Isa sa mga agrarian reform beneficiaries. 1982, ma'am, nagsugod mi og panguma bilang usa ka tenant. O sa dihang nagpadayon na mi og panguma ni abot ang agrarian reform, murag dili unta gid mi musugot. Tungod kay hadlok ni ma'am within 30 years prisuhon. Imbis nga matigulang nami mag-agwanta ni sa prisuhan tungod kay ngano daw nga nag-assume mi og usa ka luna sa yuta nga wala man lang mi kabayad. Ang area namo ma'am is 2.7 hectares. Amo na siya ang natanuman og lubi og nakuprasan na namo sa pagkakaron. Ang among gibati ma'am nga ihatag na ni President Bongbong Marcos sa amo ang luna sa yuta. Dako kayo mga pagpasalamat tungod kay kung dili patungod sa ihang paghatag ni anang yuta, ma'am, dili gid ni taon makabayad. Muna nga among gipasalamatan si President Marcos nga naabot sa iyang nahuna nga iyang ihipang hatag sa mga taong kabus. Amo gid nang gipasalamatan sa iya. Dako pud kaayo ang among pagpasalamat kang Secretary Estrella III nga isa-usab siya nga naning kamot nga matabangan in taon ang mga kabus nga mahatag sa amua ang luna sa yuta. Kini nga maong yuta nga among naangkon, ma'am, sa agrarian reform, amo ni siyang atimanon kay para nga masunod pa kini sa among mga anak kumaabot.
The country and Japan have pledged to strengthen cooperation on climate change and accelerate climate action, including optimizing opportunities in green and gray infrastructure. According to Philippine News Agency report, during the opening of the second Philippine-Japan Environment Week, Department of Environment and Natural Resources Secretary Maria Antonia Yulo Loizaga said the event highlights the commitment that had been formalized in Memorandum of Cooperation signed in December 2023, reflecting the strong partnership and shared goals of the two countries for prosperity, sustainability, and regional stability. The DENR chief also emphasized key collaboration areas between the two nations, including climate change adaptation and mitigation, pollution management, clean energy, and water accessibility.
The Land Transportation Office, or LTO, in Sorsogon strengthens the road safety campaign for all motorists to maintain order and prevent accidents. Philippine Information Agency Sorsogon's Oliver Rivera has the details.
The Land Transportation Office, or the LTO, continues its law enforcement operations as part of the government's commitment to the safety of all road users. The agency is sending a strong message that traffic rules and regulations must be followed to maintain order and prevent accidents. Last year, LTO has apprehended a total of 40,374 motorists for various violations in the Sorsogon region.
Maging alerto tayo at safety po para suportahan ang ating road safety campaign. Mga kababayan, hindi tayo mapapagod na paulit-ulit nating ipaalala sa inyo na maging madisiplinado tayo sa ating mga pagbibiyahe sa mga lansangan. Panatilihin natin na ang ating mga papeles ay legal, hindi paso. Kung maaari po sana ay i-maintain natin ang ating pagsunod sa batas lansangan.
The agency attributed this achievement to strict enforcement of road safety rules and regulations, as well as increased visibility of LTO enforcers and deputized officers.
Marami po sa seatbelt, marami din po sa helmet. And pinakamarami ata accessories po. Yun din po, problema din po natin ang registration. So lalo na po sa mga far-flung areas.
LTO advised motorists to maintain their valid driver's license, register their vehicles, regularly checking them and ensuring that all parts are functioning properly to avoid fines and penalties. From the Philippine Information Agency SOCSERGEN, Oliver Rivera, Balitang Pambansa.
Meanwhile, the Department of Agrarian Reform, or DAR, has distributed more than 194,000 land titles covering over 229,000 hectares to 18,219 agrarian reform beneficiaries since President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. took office. Based on Philippine News Agency's report, DAR Secretary Conrado Israel III highlighted the significant rise in land distribution as part of efforts to combat rural poverty and hunger while boosting agricultural productivity. In 2024 alone, DAR set a new record with a 180% increase, distributing over 102,000 titles across more than 120,000 hectares. The distribution includes both electronic titles and traditional land ownership certificates. And that includes a rundown of the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news and information from all across the nation. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Joe Fernandez.
This is your trusted news source, always ready to inform and serve the Filipino people. Catch Balitang Pambansa again tomorrow at 7 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. for more updates and developments. From Radyo Pilipinas, I am Princess Habiba Saripaudak, and this is
Balitang Pambansa.